And we are back. This is the WFNY BrownsCast, presented by Evergreen Podcast. Evergreen, the Evergreen Podcast Network. I'm your host, Joe Gilbert. I'm with Taylor Jedrzejek today, and we're talking about the 17-0 Browns schedule released today.
Yep, always
Always critical.
going on two consecutive decades of being schedule game champions.
Yes, we are undefeated in that realm. If only that was true. But yeah, before we get into it, this podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. For first-time depositors, enter in the code WFY at checkout, and Underdog will match up to $100. Underdog is a great platform if you're tired of the DFS salary system. There are tons of game types, drafts every night of the week for every sport. Don't forget to use WFNY at checkout. Get your first-time deposit matched up to $100 as Underdog. So as you can see, if you're watching this on YouTube live or later, the schedule is on there for you. But let's get into it. Week one kind of sets you right into the fire here.
There's no hiding on that one.
Yeah, no hiding. Actually, we're gonna get into this later, but the first 4 weeks is gonna be a make or break, I think here. But let's start with week one. We're playing at home versus the Bengals. So big matchup there. 1:00 p.m. for that one. What's your thoughts initially on seeing the Bengals kind of being the first matchup of the season?
There's no hiding the Twitter beef
No.
between the fan bases. It's just gonna start now and go right up through September 10th. There,
Yeah.
I don't mind that being the first game. Admittedly, I probably should have looked this up before I said it, but I don't think the Bengals have been that great in week one the last couple of years. Last year they lost to the Steelers, which was like a horrendous loss, and I think 2 years ago they had another bad loss in week one.
Yeah.
But it's a game you get to have at home. The Browns have pretty consistently beat them at home in the Kevin Stefanski era, so I'm not gonna say that oh God, why do we have to start against the Bengals automatically 0-1? Like, no,
Right.
They've had a pretty good track record against the Bengals,
Yeah.
especially at home. You're catching the Bengals when they've in this era been their weakest.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good kind of get in the fire and let's see what you got here.
There's no shallow end. You're just jumping right in. You're jumping right in.
Yeah. And this is I feel like the Browns have kind of started off slowly last couple of years under Stefanski. I don't think he's really kind of dealt with the preseason as well as I would have liked. So it'll be interesting to see if he kind of changes it up because you got Bengals week one, and that's a big game, man. You got to starting out 1-0 in division is going to be huge. So this is it's going to be a fun game. I can't wait. At home, and it's going to be a great test for him.
Yep.
And then week two, we stay in the division. We go on the road for our first road game, and we play the Pittsburgh Steelers on Monday Night Football. First primetime game. They have 2 primetime games as of now. This is the first one.
What's with these early season primetime games?
I know, right? They really love. I know. I'm surprised we didn't see a Thursday night Pittsburgh Steelers game. I think we've had a Steelers Thursday night
as is tradition.
Right. It's like every year we have one. They play Monday night against the Steelers. It's another huge game because it's an in-division game. And what's your thoughts on this one?
I going into Pittsburgh the last few years has not been kind to us, even though I think we've been a lot better against the Steelers of late. The Steelers, I still don't think are going to be. They lost a lot of pieces on their defense. They didn't really replace them. They're really kind of banking on a Kenny Pickett renaissance, and I don't know how much I want to even if I was a Steelers fan, how much faith I'd want to put in that.
Yeah.
So that's a game like the Steelers games this year are almost you have to win them because
Yeah.
in the great theorem of you beat the teams you're better than, you'd like to think you're better than the Steelers right now.
Yes. Right.
So
Right.
you have to beat them.
Yeah.
You didn't
Yeah.
beat them at the end of last season. Part of that was I don't think Deshaun Watson had very much confidence. Part of that was
It was a
you're on the
slog in
road.
the end.
Yeah, you're right at the end of the season. Like you're in the last week. You're already eliminated.
Yeah.
You didn't get crushed. I'll give them that. I guess I don't know. It was not a good showing either way.
No.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. It's with the division, how stacked it is with Baltimore and Cincinnati. The Pittsburgh's going to be sort of a must win because you're probably going to be looking for a split between the other two teams. You would
yeah,
think.
you gotta win your division home games and
Yeah.
hope to steal one or two other ones.
Right. Yeah. So that's going to be a big game.
Like I don't think there's going to be anyone in this division that goes better than 4-2 in division.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
I would
this
agree.
division's going to beat itself up. It
It
always
is.
has. It's destined to do this forever.
It really is.
It's basically the snake that eats itself.
Yeah.
So like if you can get to 4-2 in division, you have a good shot at all the tiebreakers that you need.
Yeah.
And that entails winning your home games and
Ex-
stealing one on the road.
Yep. Yep.
Which I think they won their home games last year and lost all their road games.
I think you're right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, like,
And Stefanski's been good relatively in the division. He's really performed better than any other coaches since '99.
granted, I mean
Which is
the
granted, it's
bar
not
the bar is subterranean on that one.
right. It's not high, but he's been pretty solid there. So it'll be a good 1-2 punch there at the beginning of the year to start off in the division. Then week 3 they come back home and then they stay home for 4 weeks. One is a bye, so but that's a nice kind of homestand there. They play the Tennessee Titans at home, 1 o'clock. Tennessee's in a bit of a
They
could
feel
blow
like
up.
they're in purgatory.
Right, yeah, they could blow up or they could like be that kind of the
Resurgent team. Last year
yeah,
they weren't
yeah,
very good.
because they still have Tannehill. They drafted who they drafted somebody one of the quarterbacks this offseason. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they kind of go this season. So Tennessee Titans week 3, what do you think?
Same philosophy as week 2.
Yep.
Beat the teams you're better than.
Yep.
Like you have no there's no honest well, I mean, I'm not going to say there's no I can't imagine there's many people who actually know football and don't have an axe to grind that are going to say the Browns are a worse team than the Titans at home.
Right.
I mean, if the Browns are healthy going into week 3, you're probably looking at being a 5-6 point favorite.
I would say so, yeah.
Like those are games you have to win.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, it's the two of the 3 first games are gotta kind of not must wins, but you would like to get them because as you said, they're better than.
Yeah, you don't want to lose to teams you're better than. Like
Yeah.
you're when you're trying to make the playoffs, when you're in this window, you can't afford to lose those games. That's something the Bengals have done very well the last 2 years.
Yep.
They beat the teams they're better than, and then and even in those games where they haven't been good, they've won those games. See the Raiders at the end of 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like they had no business winning that game, but they won that game, and then they went on and beat the Chiefs the next week, and then they won the division. Like
Yep.
it's though you just got to stack wins. You
Yep.
got to find places to get your wins. And if you're the Browns, you need to get to at least 9 to have hope.
Yep.
And you just got to find where those 9 are going to be. And right now, like two of your first 3 games are against teams you're better than, even though one of them's on the road,
Yep.
and the other one's against a team that you've pretty much dominated on your home field. So,
Yep.
like, yeah, homerism 3-0, but like it's not like out of the question.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I agree. And then to kind of this, I would say week 1 through 6 is the hardest stretch of the schedule, but uh, week 4 is another home game, and they play Baltimore. So 3 out of the top 4 games are in division rivals. So it's man, they're really kind of, we're gonna know what this team is pretty
Yeah,
pretty well at the
I
bye
mean,
week here at week
yeah,
5.
you could head into the bye week 3-0 against the division
Yeah.
and feel really great about yourself, or you could go into the bye week 0-3 against the division and the sky would be falling.
Right. Not feel. Yeah, that's another I saw on Twitter, like, man, if they go 0-4 or 0-3 or something, or 1-3, that bye week there is going to be interesting.
It's going to be toxic because you're going to
It's
come out and like we're going to get to week 6 because
yeah,
I don't think that's a winnable game. Uh,
yeah,
but you're going to
yeah,
get to week 6. You're staring 1-4 in the face if if you go into the bye 1-3,
yeah,
and at that point you're playing catch up the rest of the season. And there are some easier stretches, but that's not what you want to do. Like
definitely.
I think the Ravens are another winnable game because you're getting them at home, and the last 2 years you've been good against the Ravens at home. Granted, you've only played a quarter and a half against Lamar in those 8 quarters, so
Yeah.
um,
Now, yeah,
Lamar shouldn't be hurt in week 4. Um,
right.
you never know, but like you're going to face the Ravens at full strength. You probably should have beaten them at full strength on the road last year, and officiating and bad bounces and all that, and you don't get that win. It's not an on like the way this team is constructed. Nothing feels too daunting
Yeah,
except for the 49ers defense. Nothing feels too daunting.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
you feel like you have a shot to win every game because you have the team that can do that.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah,
just whether or not they actually perform.
right.
You have to get at least 80% of 2020 Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
You have to get
yeah,
at least 80%.
yeah,
Anything less than that, and you're
yeah.
not going to win enough games.
Exactly.
Even 80%, you're probably the 7th or 8th best quarterback in the NFL, and you should win 10 games based on this schedule. The schedule is not a tough one.
Right. Yeah,
But
definitely.
you're playing the AFC South and the NFC West. Like,
Yeah. So yeah, then week 5 is the bye week, as we talked about, and week 6 is San Francisco at home. I know you said it's probably one of the toughest games of the schedule, but
yeah,
if you really look at what San Francisco has, so Browns will be coming off the bye, and then San Francisco is going to be coming off a Sunday night game in San Francisco. So it's one of those kind of, is travel going to be a big factor here?
yeah. I mean,
Um,
it's a 1 a.m. It's a 1 p.m. game on
right.
the East
It's
Coast
which
for a
is
West
10,
Coast
yeah,
team, which is
10
always
10
tough.
a.m.
I still don't feel like they know what they want to do at quarterback, which,
Right. That's also
obviously big question, but
exactly. Yep.
that defense is so damn good. I'm not sure
And
it's going to matter.
I know. That's yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I don't know. If you can score 23 points on the 49ers this season, you have a better than 50% chance of winning. But I think the odds that they give up 23 points
Yeah.
are about 1 in
That,
5.
that defense is good.
That
Yeah. It's
it's
healthy.
just so good.
Yeah.
Like Deshaun Watson's going to have to literally light them on fire himself
Yeah.
because I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball.
Right. Yeah. That's gonna be it's gonna be a good test for Deshaun to see how much he can carry on offense.
Hell, if the Browns defense can prove that it's improved and the defensive coordinator is everything that we want him to be, that could be that could be a 9-6 game.
Yeah, could be.
Like,
Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one. Then week
fun is certainly a word for a
right.
9-6 game.
If you like defense, it'll be fun. uh, and then they go on the road for week 7 and 8. They play the Colts and then Seattle. The Colts are at 1 p.m. and then Seattle is at 4 p.m.
4 o'clock games are so weird for me as a Browns fan. It doesn't feel like we've had very many over the years.
Yeah, they really haven't. But they have 2 on the schedule actually.
3.
Three.
Yeah, it's probably the most that they can have.
Probably,
unless the AFC, like, I'm not sure it can line up. Actually, no, it could line up. Having an AFC West, NFC West schedule in the same year, you'd end up with at least 4.
Yeah, and they also the 4 o'clock is the kind of the primetime game for like CBS and Fox. So if there's like a big matchup there, they could have more.
I could see it happen. The only one I could see it happening for there is the Broncos game, if the Broncos can figure themselves out. I don't think they'll be like they're on our schedule as a 4th place team. I don't think that either of these teams are going to be 4th place teams this year. I just can't see the Broncos being as bad as they were last year again.
We'll see when Russell Wilson shows up, but we'll get to the Broncos later there.
Yeah, we got time. We got
Colts,
5 weeks.
Yeah, Colts. They drafted their quarterback first round, but who knows if they cut Matt Ryan, so I'm assuming they're going with Anthony
Richardson.
Anthony Richardson. So that's going to be another game that you should try.
You're way better than the Colts. Colts aren't good. But something about, and this is old bad Browns habits that I've grown up with. They always seem to be, and it happened again last year. They're always really bad against quarterbacks that no one has seen before.
That's true.
Like, backup quarterbacks have tortured the Browns for decades at this point.
Duck Hodges still haunts my dreams.
How about Bailey Zappi?
Oh God. Oh yeah.
That kid may never start another NFL game in his life, but he threw for 320 on the Browns.
Yeah. Oh, man. No, thank you.
And the Browns have, let's see, what do they have? 3 of those this year? Yeah, they have 3 of those, potentially 4 if by week 13 the Rams suck and Captain Georgia is playing. The concept of having CJ Stroud light me up on Christmas Eve.
God, no.
Merry Christmas.
Let's not put that out there.
Merry Christmas. Here's CJ Stroud.
Oh no.
Anyway, back to the Colts.
Yeah.
I don't.
This has got to be a win.
Yeah. No, you can't. You can't lose this game.
You can't lose this game.
No, you can't lose that game.
No.
There's actually these 3 games. This is the block of the schedule.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
You cannot lose these games.
Yeah.
I would forgive Seattle because that is a long trip and a tough place to play. The weather could suck. Yeah. That's not a horrible team. They just are weird.
That is a good explanation. A weird team.
Like, they shouldn't be good, but they are. Their defense has been rebuilt.
Yeah.
Their offense has great receivers. It's, whether or not Geno Smith can be good. Yeah. Like, they put a lot of faith in him. They put a pretty hefty contract in his corner for what Geno Smith is, and we'll see if he can live up to it. Those are 3. 2 of those are must wins because the Cardinals, I think, are going to be just terrible.
Yeah, because Murray is out for the year. So yeah, that's week 9 at home. Yeah, Murray's out for the year, so that team basically is rebuilding. The draft
Yeah,
kind of showed it.
yeah,
They traded backwards and got I don't know how many picks next year.
all of them.
Yes, all of them. I think they could have the first and second pick if Chicago is the same as this year, but or last year. So yeah, that's a rebuilding team. That's another must win, especially at home. I don't even know who the heck their quarterback is right now. It, I don't know. It could
Yeah,
be could be the former Browns guy that's Colt McCoy that's been there for years. It seems like, but
surprised that guy's still in the league.
I know seriously.
James
So
Harrison tried to end his career a decade ago.
yeah, but yeah. This 3 week 7 through 9 is definitely a one that you can make some hay with, and and then you get into week 10. First, well, not this is the second road game in division. This time against Baltimore, 1 p.m. on Sunday. It's actually back-to-back weeks of in division. They're very bunched together this year.
Yeah,
Um,
it's pretty clear who the NFL thinks is going to be competing for the AFC North. Look at who they had play in Week 1 and Week 18.
that's a good point. Very good
Like
point.
I don't think. I think they know that the Browns last year were kind of a
Yeah,
victim of circumstance.
and they gave us Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think that if you look at that, you're thinking that the NFL thinks that one's going to be for the division.
Yeah.
And just reading into that a little bit, it's a good feeling that the league has that kind of faith that the Browns are not going to be ass. So, because
Yeah.
it's not come around very often. Happened in 2019, and we see how that went. It's I'm not gonna file the Week 10 in Baltimore as a must win. Go and compete. You almost won there last year. See what happens. You have a better quarterback now, hopefully, than you did last year when you played in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And their defense has gotten worse.
Yeah, they have. Yep.
They've improved their offense allegedly. I don't know how much their receiving core is actually going to like. If you're running OBJ out there at this
Right.
point in his career, like
A lot of unproven stuff at the
yeah,
wide
like
receiver position.
Zay Flowers seems like the kind of receiver that's going to torture the Browns for half a decade. But like the Ravens have not hit on receiver picks lately.
Nope. Not since.
Um,
Ooh, I don't even know. Quite a while.
no, I don't. God, they've hit on tight ends. I don't think they've hit on receiver. They've relied on free agency. Steve
Yeah.
Smith tortured us for years. Anquan Bolden tortured us for years.
Both were free agents.
Free
Yep.
agents. Yeah.
Yeah. They have not. Has not been the position. Contrary to what Pittsburgh has been. Pittsburgh has drafted them. But yeah, that's week 10 and 11 are definitely ones that you would like to at the very least split.
Yeah, like win your home games, win
Yeah.
your home division games, and you're playing the Steelers in November at home.
Yeah.
Like
And then
it's a team you're better than. Go out and beat them.
yeah. And then 12 through 16, they can make some hay here, man. Week 12 is the Broncos on the road, 4 o'clock. Obviously, it's a tough drive.
That's a tough one, and we don't truly know what the Broncos are going to be right now.
Right.
We will know what the Broncos are by week 6.
Right? Yeah, it could be like blow it up.
They could have at that point. They could have traded Russell Wilson to the Rams, and
right. Russell Wilson's cooked. Like it could be either way there.
They could be in tank mode, or they could be second place in their division. Well, I mean, if the Broncos are good, that division's going to be tough. But
yeah, they're going to beat up each other. Yeah.
Yeah. The AFC in general is just a slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
I'd much rather be in the NFC right now.
Yeah. So the Broncos are at 4 o'clock on Sunday, and then they play the next week on 4 o'clock in LA versus the Rams.
The
Rams
are
are another. They're literally the Broncos. They could also. I think they're leaning more towards blow up because I think
well. The issue
they're just
is
aging
they
out.
have no draft picks. Like
Right.
they
They're
need
aging
to.
out.
Yeah, they almost need to trade players at the deadline to get some picks back.
Yeah.
Like
I would agree with that.
Cooper Kupp's going to end up with the Jets at some point for a first round pick. Like, if that happens, I'll feel real great about my prognostication abilities. But they're kind of an enigma. Both like week 12 and 13 are hard to predict because
Yep.
we don't know what that
14-2.
team's going to be.
14-2. Like, was that a real? Were the Jacksonville real,
I
or
don't.
was that just
I
like a
think
hot run?
I think the playoffs were more of the Chargers like pissing down their leg.
That's what
But
I'm saying. Yeah, and like
um,
even their run to the playoffs
their run to the playoffs was
was
fueled by the fact
lucky.
that the division was terrible.
Right.
Like, I don't think they're a bad team. I don't think they're there yet. I think they're going to probably win the division because their division is god awful.
God awful. Can we be in
Like,
that one?
they're gonna no. That's the only division in the AFC that's like, what the hell are you guys doing down there?
Right. Yeah. Oh man, that is awful. But yeah, that is these week 12, 13, and 14 are kind of if it's sitting in week 9, I would say we would be like, okay, this could be really easy, or it could be one of them could be some tougher games. It's those
Now,
are
I will
some
say,
flip-flop ones.
anyone that is outside of our division and doesn't see us all the time, we are that same spot on the schedule for all these
That's
teams.
good point.
Because no one knows what we're going to be either.
Yep.
Like, Deshaun Watson could come out and light the league on fire like he did 3 years ago, and the Browns win 13 games. Or he could be what he was last year and the Browns win 8. Like,
Yep. Yeah.
Literally the line is, how is Deshaun Watson going to play?
Yep. Exactly. Yep.
We should beat the Bears and the Texans. They're going to be bad.
Yes. Yeah. We can kind of flip through this. Bears at home. That's not determined yet. So that would be the week before Christmas.
They would either flex that to a Saturday or keep it at Sunday at 1.
Yeah.
I don't think that game's going to be worth flexing to a Saturday. So we're probably looking at a Sunday at 11 o'clock because no one wants to see that game.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. So and then the Texans on the road. We're playing. Deshaun is once again going back home.
Yeah,
which is funny.
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas, everybody. Yeah, that's and then you kind of these last 2 games, man. They really put you. If you want to be a player,
Yeah, I mean,
I feel
the
like
the NFL is setting this up for the Browns to, if they're in the playoff hunt, they have to go through 2 teams that they also expect to be in the playoff hunt at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Namely the Jets. I think they probably put the Jets and the Browns on the same level. The Bengals are obviously a little bit higher on that scale, but it's not a game that the Browns are going to automatically lose just because it's in Kentucky.
Yeah. So yeah, the week 17 is a Thursday night game. So it's going to be a tough one. It's coming off of Christmas Eve. I doubt they'll do a light practice probably on Christmas, which is a Monday, and then they got 3 days to prepare for Thursday night game at home, which is huge probably.
Yeah, both teams have that same thing, but the Jets have to go on the road on what is essentially a 1-day week or a 2-day week because you're probably traveling Wednesday. So it's going to be much harder on them than it is us.
Yeah. That's a big important part there. I don't know.
I mean, it's just a rough week to have to play Thursday night because coaches aren't going to want to make people come in on Christmas, but like Christmas after, like they're going to have to make people come in and at least do film study on the evening of Christmas because you have 1 day of practice before you can travel with that for that game if you're the Jets. The Browns are lucky that it's at home.
Yeah. So let me. I was looking to see where the Jets are. Let me see. Let's see.
The Jets are home to Washington.
Where are they? Oh, this is weird.
They're playing Washington at home that weekend.
Okay. I don't know what I'm looking at. Okay. Yeah, I was trying to find that. So they're at home. Okay. So they don't have to travel. What day? Sunday?
Yeah, Christmas Eve.
Okay. Yeah. So the last part of it is the Bengals week 18. Another, as you said, they're gonna know. The league kind of knew or is kind of intimating that this could be a huge game here.
Yeah, I mean this is if the Browns are good and the Bengals are good and they're within 1 game of each other at the end of the season, this is a Jim Nantz Tony Romo game or this is a Sunday Night Football game. Like this is a big deal. So they're setting it up to be that if the Browns end up being that good. I think they're anticipating the Bengals to be that good. They've had a Warriors run of injury luck there for a couple of years, so I'm not wishing injury upon them, but eventually that luck runs out.
Yeah.
It's just hard to maintain health for long periods of time in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, that is the Browns' schedule. Let's go through kind of our thoughts on what the toughest stretch is. I think we kind of intimated already. It's week 1 through 6. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, the only thing that makes that not as tough is that you have four of those 5 games at home.
Exactly. Yeah.
That being said, I don't like having 4 of your first 5 games at home because that means you're basically playing the rest of your schedule on the road.
The nice thing is they are playing more home games.
They do. Like if this was you're playing 4 of your first 5 at home, and you only have 8 home games this year.
That was last year.
Yeah.
I think we had 4 or 5 on the road to end the season. It was a very top heavy home schedule, like this year almost. But luckily, you have that extra game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So week 1 and through 6, especially 1 through 4, there's three prime time or 3 in division games. You're gonna know what this team is all about probably by week 5, or at least have a good idea what it can be. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun stretch there. Any other things that kind of pop out at you on the schedule?
I hate the NFL for putting the Browns and Panthers on Monday night at the same time.
Oh, is that it is a doubleheader, right?
The Panthers and Saints start at 7:15, and the Browns and Steelers start at 8:15.
You got that hour.
But like, what if I wanted to go to the Panthers game?
Yeah, right.
Like it's Bryce Young's first home game. That's why it's there.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
But why did that have to be? That have to be the combo?
Yeah, I have to say it has been. I was looking over the league schedules, and it's very odd. Some of the primetime games they're given. Like some of the teams, like the Raiders, have more than like some of the really good teams. It's very odd. Obviously, it's going to be about market size and all that, but it's interesting to see who got primetime games and who didn't. Let's go before we kind of close up here. Let's pick out what's your favorite matchup of the year. I think mine is probably week 6. I might be torturing myself,
You're a
but
masochist.
but man, that's coming off a bye. Them coming over here, 10 a.m. for them. Man, if they could steal that one, whew, that's that's gonna be
the
fun.
the energy of week 1 is going to be so high.
That's
It
true.
is going to be absolutely ludicrous in that
Yeah,
stadium.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
you're playing the Bengals, who those two fan bases have like absolutely renewed hate of each other, especially on Twitter.
Yeah.
Um, you're getting the Bengals at home, a place that they're not fond of coming right now, and I think there's a lot of chest puffing going on in Bengals land, but like they don't want to go to Cleveland. They've not played well there. Joe Burrow's not played well there. Like it's not a matchup they want. The stadium's gonna they're gonna be the Browns are gonna be undefeated, so the stadium's gonna be nuts. It's gonna
Yeah,
be full. The weather
can't
shouldn't
wait.
suck.
That's gonna be fun.
Like
Yeah,
like their home opener in what was it 2018 in the hurricane that really sucked. But other than that, like every home opener has been pretty nice.
mhm, yeah,
Um, it's the energy of that game is just it makes it kind of the highlight of the schedule for right now. I
yeah,
think the Jaguars game could be huge late in the season if both teams are good. I think that if both teams are good at the end of the season, the Jets game could have a similar energy to the Bengals game.
yeah. That could be one of the bigger games of the season. Yeah,
But just like the buzz you're gonna feel, and obviously I'm not gonna feel it because I'm gonna be here. But like people in the Muni that day, again facing the Bengals in Week 1, where there's still the optimism that the season's not gonna suck unless you lose Deshaun Watson in the preseason. Find some wood.
right.
Uh, like if everything goes according to plan for both teams, that game is going to be really good. The build up to it will be really good. I don't know if the game will be
Yeah,
good. No guarantees on the game.
yeah. No
Um,
guarantees there.
but I think that should be a fun one. And then, obviously going to Seattle's fun. Going to Denver historically has not been kind to us. I'm sure there will be a lot of. Actually, no, this will be the second time the Browns have played there. So the trip to SoFi is cool because it's a cool stadium. Hopefully, the refs are kinder to us this time than they were last time we were there.
Oh God.
I can't believe that we've drawn the Texans 2 years in a row in
I
Houston.
know, right? That's weird.
So
Yeah.
weird. But there's a lot, like unlike last year. I mean, there was a handful of them last year, but I feel like the schedule this year, and it's evident in the fact that we have the 7th easiest schedule. But there's a lot of games on this schedule that are you're better than this team. Go beat them.
Yep. Yeah. Let's count them off here. We got
1,
Pittsburgh. You
2,
think
3, 4, 5,
Titans,
6,
Colts,
7, 8,
Seattle.
9. You have 9 teams you're better than.
Yeah.
And
Starting
I didn't count the Broncos, and I
right.
didn't count any of the division games. Well, I should count the Steelers, but I didn't count the Steelers on the road. So
Right.
let me recount that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You have 10 teams you're better than. Go win 10 games.
And that's right now. Like that's crazy. Yeah. So
Like
yeah.
unless you get beat to shit like you did last year, unless you're down to center number 8, like you don't have very many excuses. Like go beat this schedule.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all there for them.
I'm not
I
going to
think
come out and say they're going to win. They're going to go 13-4, but like
yeah.
10-7 will get you in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're in the dance. You have a shot.
Yeah. Yeah. They had the 8th, I think, fewest traveling schedule. So that's another kind of
Well, they have such a compact division that's almost a cheat code for the entire
Right.
division. Like
Yeah.
the entire
Usually,
division is within
usually the
300
West
miles of
Coast
each
team.
other.
Yeah. Usually the West Coast team's got to get screwed on that.
Yeah, like the Cardinals and the Seahawks aren't very far apart, like in our minds, but I think that's still like a 1,500-mile trip.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know if do you want to do the schedule game? Are we doing no?
I
Okay.
think we kind of did it. Like
Okay.
I think we kind of did it. Like there's
I think
10
so too.
there's
Yeah.
10 games on there that we think we're the better team.
Yeah.
So be the better team.
Yep.
That's I don't think that's not homerism. That's not over optimism. That's just go be the better team. Go prove that you're the better team.
Yeah. And then I'm just looking up before we get out of here. I'm looking up the strength of schedule for the other teams in our division.
I think
Uh,
the Bengals are in the 20s. Other than that,
yeah, Bengals are 17, Ravens are 21, Steelers are 25, right before the Browns at 26. So, about middle of the road there. So nothing huge. Like I think there was one year where I think like one of the teams had like a top five hardest schedule, but not a big kind of difference maker there. But so it's gonna be a fun year. I can't wait. This is kind of like I don't know the beginning of the hype for next season. Wouldn't you say?
yeah.
Kind of get your juices flowing for what's ahead, and yeah, I can't wait. Any final thoughts before we get out of here on the schedule?
The Giants have the strangest schedule I have ever seen.
Oh, I haven't seen them.
They have 7 of their first 12 on the road.
Ooh. Are they now? So they're NFC team, so they're playing less home games, right?
Yeah,
I think that's how that works.
Yeah,
No?
they have 9 road games, and they're playing 7 of 12, 7 of their first 12 of them on the road.
Oh my gosh!
and they don't even have the fake road game where they play the Jets this year, but that's a home game, so that it's not even like a fake road game.
Oh,
The Jets have a fake road game.
I feel like they're I'm not high on Giants. I think the hype is a little way too high.
No, I don't think I'm super high on them either. But that schedule just feels cruel.
I know that's sort of like, hey, you think you're good?
And it's not like their road trips. Like this is the first 6 weeks of their schedule. Home against the Cowboys, not a gimme. Going to Arizona,
gimme.
I mean that's a bad team, but you're still going across the country.
Yeah. Sure.
Week 3, you're going to San Francisco.
Oh boy.
Week 4, you're hosting the Seahawks. Week 5, you're going to Miami, and week 6, you're going to Buffalo.
I'm just glad, but you brought up Miami. I'm just glad that we're not playing that division.
No,
thank God.
No, we played them last year. We don't have to see that division.
That is a brutal division. My God.
No, we don't.
Thank
we don't
God
have to play that
playing
division again for 3 years. I don't think, or 2 years. I think we'll see them again in what we got the South this year. We'll have the West next year. We'll have the East in 2025.
Yeah. This is the first Seattle game in a while, right? I can't remember.
Yeah, we haven't lined up with them on the standings pairing.
And we haven't. I think the last time we were there was Hasselbeck there.
The last time we were there would have been. I mean, we're talking about games that none of us wanted to remember because we played them in 2021, and that was the game that we blew. Or no, 2020. No. It was 2019. Remember, we were up 28-12 or something, or 27-12, and we lost.
Oh, yeah.
Blew the game in the second half. So that means we would have gone to Seattle in, I believe it would have been 2016. And I can't imagine it went well. That wasn't a a good time for there was not good times to be had by all in Brownsland in 2016.
No,
Um,
no.
I'll look this up. Hold on, because now I'm curious.
I'm just thinking too. We haven't played Indianapolis really since we were on the. I think it was the COVID year at home.
Yeah, we
But
haven't
other
lined
than
up.
that,
We haven't lined up with them in terms of standings, because we'll play those teams every year, but you have to line up with them on standing.
yeah.
Our last Seahawks game in Seattle was in 2015. It was a 30-13 loss.
Was it Hasselbeck?
Oh God, 2015. It shouldn't have been. It should have been Russell Wilson.
No. Yeah, it's probably Russell. I remember one with Hasselbeck. I forget which year it was.
I don't think the Browns ever had a shot in this game.
No.
Yeah, it was 20-10 at halftime at least. Johnny Manziel started that game.
I think I do remember that. Yeah, he did not. Yeah, that was a blowout from the start. Yeah. So that's the schedule. We'll be back. I don't know when we'll be back. Sometime before the regular season training camp. And they have also not shown on the schedule. They have four preseason games this year. So with the Hall of Fame game, which no one will play in.
Yeah, that game is going to be a glorified scrimmage.
Can't wait. Yes, can't wait for that. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll be back around training camp, and or if any other big news breaks. But this is another episode of WFNY BrownsCast with Joe and Taylor.